We're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Tylos Thots, where you get to hear my thoughts for absolutely nothing. They're free. You should be paying for these thoughts. They're pretty good thoughts. How's it going? I hope everybody's fine from our last stream we did a couple nights ago. I know I am. I had a great game session. We'll be playing games after this session, not right after. Like last time, there will be a bit of a break. Probably start that around... be around 7 o'clock my time, maybe 7:30. That's about 8:39 EST. Today, however, we are going to be talking about something interesting. Today we're going to be talking about it's a question, a lost question. I call it a lost question because we can't really seem to find a reason to ask it. I think we have every reason to, and that question is, where the hell did we come from? Modern humans. Now, I know where humans come from for the most part, unless you want to start diving into some other theories, but that's we're not getting into that today. Today, we are getting into where I think we started and kind of why I think that. Then we're going to be talking about why it was lost and how it was lost. And we're going to be talking about this affects not only the future we live in currently, but going forward. The first thing I want to address is I am, as much as I am a conspiracy nut, everything's with a grain of salt. So I'll listen to them. I really see it to believe it type of fella. Whereas, I need proof. I need strong evidence. Sometimes logic is good enough, but let's look at the Egyptians. Let's just start there. I'm not going to go over all the facts you already know about them. If you don't know much about them, there's tons of good videos on YouTube doing all the facts. I'm not here giving facts about something we've all heard presumably 1,000 times. I've seen more videos about that than I can count on my fingers. So I'm just going to say this, though. Let's gloss over the Sphinx and the water erosion theory. To me, that's an archaeologist or whoever is an expert in that field walks up to something that says that's water erosion. I'm going to take their word for it. Otherwise, what's the point of even having those type of peoples and those type of experts out there? There's loud noises outside. Weird. But when we do look at the ancient Egyptians, one thing I do want to point out is the mathematics. They were very advanced in mathematics, and this is actually dated in, if you look in a lot of their old writings and scriptures, it's math, not advanced math, but enough math to build the pyramids, get those things straightened out. Now, whatever you think about the pyramid, if you're asking me directly, how are they built? I do think they're built by man. Now, here's where the bullshit starts to come. Here's where I start drawing lines and where I start looking for answers to these questions. And what's the timeline? Okay, they say ancient Egypt goes back to what? Let's say at the top end 6,000 years ago. The beginning of it, of which. And then they say about 2,000 years ago was the high. 3,000. It was the height of their civilization. And then we go to their fall off, whatever. Then you just really start to think, okay, they're sourcing materials, the stones they got, miles down the river, miles and miles and miles down the Nile River. Okay, cool. So put that to the side for now. Sure, they quarried a lot nearby. There's certain different stones they brought in. What's my point? Okay, so they're bringing in from 1,000 miles away, and it's not how do they do it. I'm sure they can show us ways of building. If we can take a time machine, go right back, watch them do it, we're probably like, that's actually very smart. I bet you there's a lot of things they do that we're just not capable of thinking of because we're just not in that mindset of that era or that I think those people also had the naiveness to believe they can accomplish things that us as people would be. No, it's impossible. There's not a chance with no heavy equipment and machinery. We're getting rocks from that quarry over there and bringing it down over there. It's not happening. Not happening just under manpower. Where they probably didn't have a concept of not being able to do something. No, not to the level we do. We'll get into why I think we built ourselves a little prison here in the future, whether that's good, bad, or by design. These people, to me, spent a lot more time than what we're being quoted. Now, if you want to get into the debate that the Great Pyramid of Giza is a lot older than what they say it is, which I can't possibly. I mean, if you look, a lot of people say it goes back to right as the Ice Age was ending. What the fuck's it called? The Dryas, yes, which is 12,000 years ago. But the archetype of the modern human, the society, the agriculture, that's only about 6,000 years old? No, I don't think, as much as I have faith in humanity and our capabilities, I cannot possibly imagine doing all that in 6,000 years, let alone other places in the world. I'm not just talking South America. You also got it in the Southeast Asian islands, pyramids everywhere, especially around the Indonesia area. Just go look it up. Actually, what was it called? I think it's called Footprints of the Gods. It's that Graham Hancock on Netflix, his series. Or you'll find it on Netflix. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank to it. But they have a lot of places in Southeast Asia. And just on my own research alone, their pyramids are a lot like the Mexican ones, like the Aztecs or the Incas or the Olmecs, which I find very weird, kinda, because Easter Island and all that, if someone can make it out to Easter Island, I wouldn't be mind blown if someone was able to make it out to South America from there and spread on the information of a pyramid. And so what I'm basically saying is, this is why I think it's older, is I think the pyramids of Giza were built a long time ago. A very long time ago. At least 10,000 years ago. Younger Dryas happened, right? And kind of wiped away that evidence. Massive floods. So any evidence, like, we're never going to find it. I mean, if we do find any, the only thing we really have, is Göbekli Tepe, I believe it's called. My pronunciation is absolutely horrid either way, but that's over in, I believe, Turkey. Yes. And they can date back, I think their oldest date, damn near 11,000 years. And they found that, and then they stopped excavation. And there's a lot of reasons why. Tourist trap, countries like that, they don't make much money anyways. And if they can get people coming to their country who have wealth to spend money, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not gonna sit there and knock it, but that place within itself needs to be uncovered completely. I just wish for once we could put greed aside, because that's really what it boils to. There's two lanes of greed this car travels on. Right? The first lane is, we got to get people here. We do everything at once. There's no money, we do it slowly. We can create jobs for years. The economics of it makes complete sense to me, and I'm not really going to sit here and argue it. But then on the flip side, I'm like, come on, guys. It's kind of our human fucking history. I would like to know it. I would like to know the truth, or at least have a attempt at making an effort to find the truth. That's could be the bare minimum. And then the other lane would be, okay, we can't have people know, we can't have people know that the narrative we're pushing is untrue. Don't want people to wake up to what's going on. That's a whole nother podcast we'll get into. And that, when I get into the podcast about what's going on in the world right now, or what I think it is going on in the world right now, nobody. If you do know what the fuck's going on in the world, there's no air in your lungs. And I think that's kind of what happened with our history is some things are being kind of shrouded to kind of get us off this scent that what we know of human history is actually a lot different, a lot more in depth, a lot more fulfilling, a lot more beautiful. I think there's actually a huge side of beauty that we are hiding. And to kind of explain what I mean by that is when Martin Luther King was assassinated, it's because, let's be real, it's because he had a loud voice that was heard. It was inspiring, motivated to all extend beyond the black community, I think. And people like that don't come along very often. Same with Kennedy. Just people who have a strong voice that is instantly heard seem to disappear pretty quick, you know. So I think that we really are being silenced for that reason, because the actual human truth of our history would be too awe-inspiring. It'd be, wow, that's beautiful. And there's going to be lots of dirty, gritty, vulgar details about it. I mean, I believe that everything's got to be balanced, and you can't have good without bad, and vice versa. Thing is, and this is how I imagine it in my head, is good, fewer, weighs more. Bad, less weight, but more of it, so... And that's what keeps the scales going back and forth. That's what's really happening. So I think partly, if you're asking me which lane I'm sliding on, the lane of, we don't want to do it all at once. Creates jobs. It makes money in a poorer country. Gives people in this country work. Is it that, or is it kind of don't want that narrative out? We got a good thing going right now. We got everybody convinced that they know. And that's dangerous. If you're convinced you already know something 100% through and through, oh man. I know, even for me, you're not talking me down to nothing if I'm 100% convinced that thing is what it is. And I think that's the thing with history, is we're so convinced that we get told the truth about our history is we don't even question it. And I think what's coming out with this younger Andreas and Göbekli Tepe, I hate that word, hate it. What's coming out with all these things is, maybe we don't know. And I personally, I believe there's people who do. Lots of artifacts that are kept from us, and I'm sure there's passages in the Great Pyramid of Giza that a lot of eyes haven't seen that say something or explain something that we're not supposed to hear, or not allowed to hear. What really makes me mad is when you think about the hunter and gatherers, and it kind of seems like a lot of scientists, it's like we're hunter and gatherers, bang, now we're civilization. Like there's no, okay, this group of people kind of got something figured out, moving around as much, and then a little bit here, then a little bit there, and then there, and then all of a sudden nomadic people start looking at, the hell is that? What's going on here? This is a town. For what? You grow food. What do you mean? Well then, I don't want to, like, these guys got a nice comfy bed. They got somewhere fucking dry to sleep every night. They got camaraderie. Like, all of a sudden, civilization starts happening. It's not a, it's a transition. And sometimes I feel like, and I know they're not naive or stupid enough to believe that it just popped out of nowhere and then everybody started doing it. But the timeline that we are given just does not add up to me. It's just not enough time. And this is where I get mad, because people, what do you mean 6,000 years isn't enough time? That isn't. 6,000 years is a blink in existence. It really is. I mean, even as long as humans been around, we've been atomically accurate humans as we are today have been around longer than civilization. Almost double. You're telling me just 6,000 years ago we started figuring it out? We just, like, no, I can't wrap my head around the concept of it being so young. It's too virgin to me to be that young, or everything we know. And it really sucks, because when they burnt down the Library of Alexandria, centuries of information in there. Centuries, man. Gone. Stories gone. Truths gone. I mean, that's nothing modern humans could have done about it. That was just, I mean, the same thing those people are doing then, we're doing now, but we got smartphones and electricity, really. It's the only difference. We're just better at making it seem like we're not the same pieces. We're the same people we are now, and we're the same people we were 10,000 years ago. The exact same. There's nothing different about it. We want the same things, live life the exact same. There is a trend of us changing, but my lifetime, your lifetime, your kids, your grandkids, your great-great-grandkids, no, we're not seeing it. I'll be long gone 6 feet deep before I see what I want to see. And I want to live an old life. I want to live to 100. And there's a couple things I want to see in my lifetime, and one of them is a big ancient scientific discovery, like something like whoa, that's crazy. Like, we used to elephants used to be the dominant species in this world, and they used to build knickknacks and gadgets. I'm being ridiculous, but there's something where you're like, what? That's all I want to see. And then the second reason is I want to live through a historical event. I'm not fucking counting COVID. That was bullshit. That is the weakest pandemic ever. You're gonna put me through a pandemic, make it legit. Not that shit. Not that I ever want to go through one. And when I say I want to go through a historic event, I do and I don't. It'd be cool, because if you live through it, I guess you can tell people when you're dead, I lived through this time. But imagine explaining to somebody back in the Egyptians' day, say you guys can communicate completely fine, and you explain to him this world we live in. I got this. We can, someone across the entire planet, we can kill him with rockets, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, but you guys can't figure out how to build a fucking pyramid? So the same wars that were being fought between the same group, nothing has changed. Like, they'd be like, well, so the Jews still are going to war with everybody. So are the Christians. The Christians pretend they're good. And we got religions there, and they're all fighting. What's changed? Nothing. We're still war over nothing, territory. I don't know if anybody knows this, but nobody owns anything on Earth. Not really. Nobody owns land. We're all entitled to the fucking land. It's our land. It's just much my land as it is my fucking pet cat. We're products of Earth. It's all of ours. And I get we need territories and systems. I get, and people act like there's a lot of people who think we can live without them. No, we can't. We need our system. But the problem is we've had the same system for fucking forever. Tyler, how do we fix it? I don't know. How do you make everybody happy? How do you please the entire world? You can't. Compromise, but half the world will compromise only if the other half will. And the other half, it's just a game of fucking... I've always had this idea of the world we live in is like, it's like high school, a popularity contest. That's really what it is. And I'm just not sure how we go from building things like the pyramids when we have no business doing something as complicated to just life just feels like one big advertisement now. And I think it's because it's technology for one, but I can't sit there and say technology is a bad thing. We need it. No, we just need reasons to seek truth within our own reality. We don't get that. We only get everything on this world is framed as a getaway. You go to work, you get a weekend. You work all year for your 1 week vacation. You work all day to get home and watch TV or play a video game or whatever. None of it's actually authentic. You know what I mean? But that's more, I know it's more like a rant. So what's stopping us from finding this evidence? And it really is the younger address. I mean, we got the only proof we have of it happening probably is the mammoths or the megafauna. And we got some Clovis, but again, Clovis people were like, that whole identity was nomadic. They hunted mammoths wherever they were. They were. But, and even that is still argued, the whole theory that something kind of nudged the flood. Because again, the timeline they were giving me of how all this ice melted doesn't make sense. And we got the great myth of all the flood stories across the world. Every fucking culture has one. Every one. Every culture is around during the alleged time of it, which, guess what? 10 to 12,000 years ago. The whole planet wasn't covered in ice. South was fine. I have a world map. I'm looking right at my world map right here. And I can draw a line. And there's still a whole south. That would have been, I don't know if it would have been, warm like the south is. But it isn't a fucking 2 kilometer high sheet of ice. So it's livable enough. Places around Africa. And if you look at the map, Egypt would have been lush. Well, there's some evidence saying Egypt was lush. What about the rain on the Sphinx? Yeah, it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's stupid. Because I think a great flood did happen. It's the only thing that makes sense. And that's why we can't find literally a speck of evidence. And even without the flood, we probably still wouldn't find evidence anyways. That's what pisses me off is I can fantasize about this world all I want, but unfortunately, because we don't have those written records from Alexandria anymore, that was our bullet in the chamber. That was our shot to prove it all, and it's been gone for thousands of years, so at least 1,000. So, that's, thanks Romans for that. That's who you can blame. I mean, like, the old evidence for the flood was some continental drift. I read one, mountains uplift. The fuck's the difference between a continental drift and mountains lifting? They're all on the same tectonic. Solar variations. Okay, well it's not bad. We don't orbit the same trajectory. Sometimes we're a little bit closer to the sun, sometimes a little bit further, sometimes we're tilted. I don't know if that's enough to do it in that amount of time, that quick. And then volcanic activities would be another one, and it's like, Yeah, maybe. It would have to be some fucking volcanic activity. It would have to be huge. And I feel like if it was either a series of lots of volcanoes or one big kaboom, there would be a lot of evidence showing that. I feel we'd be able to figure that one out. And then there's the airburst or impact theory, which would make more sense to why it happened so quick. Airbursts, if you don't know what they are, comet comes in, boom. Because things usually blow up in the air. Lots of things don't make it to our ground. There's a airburst video in Russia. I can't remember the town name. Google it. There's a picture. A bunch of trees just flattened. And, I don't know, probably burst at a kilometer at least high. Around there. I don't actually have the number. It's close enough, and you can even research it to prove me wrong, but let's prove me right. And then there's another video of, this one wasn't nearly as bad. It's just a small meteorite coming in. But it was a video, I don't know, it was old, and looked like it was fucking filmed on a flip phone in 2005. But you could clearly see it come in, and boom, exploded. She was loud, shattered a lot of windows. Now imagine that, but over the course of like months, but much bigger, and they think that attributed it to it. And then their evidence is, well, some platinum spikes. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I guess platinum comes from meteorites or asteroids or whatever, which makes sense why you would find it in ice and not have to mine for it. Shocked quartz. That one, I don't know if it's quartz from meteorites or from Earth. Shocked quartz. I did a little research because I was like, what the hell is shocked quartz? Is someone scared? No, it just means it was under a lot of pressure and heat. Okay, well, I don't know. That one doesn't. Melt glass and micro sphere rules. I don't know. It's a hard word. Forgot to practice it before I came on. Micro, MICROSPHERULES. If you're wondering what it is, it's just melted material such as glass. Lots of glass pellets. And then charcoal layers, which to me is, I can wrap my head around that. I mean, the glass one doesn't make much sense to me because unless the meteorite's turning itself into glass, would be the only thing. When I imagine a 2-foot fucking thing of ice and things blowing up over it, I don't think it penetrates deep enough to even get to the ground. No, multiple, sure. Well, yeah, maybe. Now that I really think about it, if you get a bunch of those little fuckers going, you probably could. Googling something here. Oops. All right, and then we have the torrid stream or swarm, whatever you want to call it. We pass through twice a year, and I think, yeah, we just finished in November, and then our next one will be in June. We pass through it 2 times a year, if you haven't already heard of it. And that's where a lot of the comet debris, asteroid, whatever, that's where it comes from. Pass through it twice a year. That's, if we're gonna get hit, that's most likely. I mean, it can happen anytime. And we probably do get hit quite a bit, but no Earth killers, not yet, at least. And it kind of lines up when we're passing through that belt. It just so happens we line right up to the days and when we pass, and then when we think the impact and airbursts happen. Imagine that. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. It's hard to think about. I mean, I'm more curious in your opinions because, I mean, old civilization, we don't really know unless we're there. I can't imagine. Imagine it like your animal. When you have a cat, it just kind of sleeps all day. You know, it's kind of probably bored. You know, it probably has a lot more things to do with life, and you're trying to make life fun for it. You know, go outside, play with this fucking toy. Oh, I got you some treats. But, you know, deep down, it's bored. That's what I feel like ancient civilization is. You're just kind of hungry all the time, thirsty, and you're just really fucking bored. Maybe that's why you build pyramids. Maybe that's why you just... I mean, look at the architecture back then, man. You had nothing else to do. Hey, Jerry, you want to go move this 100-ton rock 10 kilometers away? For what? I don't know. It'll look cool in a wall. Yeah, I was kind of planning on doing a whole lot of nothing today, but I could put that aside for the next few months. Help you move this rock. There's gonna be food? Yeah, I got bread. All right, let's go. Fuck, man. I'm over here talking to a camera and a mic. And those guys are building things that outlive anything we've ever built. And that's what they did when they're bored, and we don't really do much when we're bored, do we? Just complain that we're bored. But we're going to wrap up this little thought of mine. I'll say this. Just think about it. The flood myth stories, pyramids around the world, just building them alone. I want you to think about the timeline, though. Does the timeline add up? Does it make sense to you? Because I can't make sense of this timeline. I think just common sense and the little facts I have here, I think we're probably older. And any evidence of it is gone. So, gotta use our imagination. I say, you won't be able to knock me off that pedestal that we go back further than what we say as a modern civilization. And I think we should all highly consider the possibility that maybe humans have been more advanced than us before. And then extinction. Who knows? Maybe we've been exactly where we're at right now a couple times. Technology everywhere. Huge population. We never know. We never really know how old humans are. Or where we go. Or where we've been to. Or where we've came back from. Once you guys remember this. A lot of shitty humans out there, but you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. Either in humans, in God, or in yourself, but you gotta have some sort of faith. You can't go through life faithless, and I have faith that one day I'll get one of my questions answered about life. And I hope whatever questions you have get answered. Thank you for listening. I hope you have an amazing day or night, wherever you're at. Good night, everybody. Oh, before I get out, Sunday show. Should be a good show. I'm going to have lots of guests on. Going to be a lot of good laughs. Check it out. It'll be not as serious. Not me sitting here ranting in a mic. Chill times. Stop by. Pop into the comment in the chat. Other than that, consider what I said. Consider what you want. Remember, it's a blessing to wake up every day alive and healthy and